you need a presence. Otherwise, people judge you as, that you're not doing any work.
Correct.
So it became important to have a presence, actually.
Correct. Yeah, what's up? It's already 5.
I think
No one's here. Even the design works people, they're speakers.
can you see people?
So, what's up? I don't know. Himani is also not here.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
Hi. Just trying to figure out, getting in Shruti and, Gagan on board. So just trying to get them soon so we can start. So it's 5.
Yeah.
Have,
I can see Harjas and I can see Himani, but I can't see the rest.
yes.
So Gagandeep would be joining in another 10 minutes because she's facing network issues.
Okay.
And same is with Shruti Sodhi. So yeah, there will be a delay of 10 minutes for sure.
Okay. So, okay. We still have participants joining in then. So let's probably then wait and, come back at 5:10, or do you want to begin now? I mean, what's your call on it?
Well, we can begin. We were already talking about it. So,
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Then, probably all of us can begin and, start with introduction.
If you have people already on board, then probably we can begin.
Yeah, if you have participants, then I think we can begin.
Yeah. Let me just check. Tina, can you check on the participants so we can, decide on beginning?
So we have gone live on YouTube, but we haven't broadcasted this yet.
Okay.
So once everyone is going to be here, I would broadcast this, but you guys are live on YouTube.
Okay.
So this is the first Zoom presentation that I pushed myself to be a part of.
Really?
Okay.
I hope this is the beginning of many more now.
This is very intruding.
No, but believe me, it's really nice because there's this one project, a big project that we are working on, and we wanted to literally finish everything before the constructions even started. It's just on the basement level. So we've met the kitchen vendors and everything, like stone vendors. We've done all the presentation, all the discussions and meetings on Zoom. So I think it's a big boon. It's really nice. I've been able to finish a lot of work.
Yeah, at least nonetheless, it's made everybody tech savvy now. Everybody cannot. Nobody complain about not.
It's become a mandate that you have to do it. I mean, there's no choice. You like it or you don't like it. You have to do it.
Right. I think we've got.
But also, one thing which I was always feeling was, which I felt now when we had meeting with our vendors is that earlier we used to wait कि अच्छा वो vendor कहीं बाहर है या हम कहीं बाहर हैं, we're traveling. So there was always 2 हफ्ते बाद मिलेंगे or whatever, we didn't have time.
Yeah.
And now it's like wherever you are, now that mindset has changed that you can, if there's an important discussion to be done, it's a 10-minute discussion and you're even in different worlds, you can still have that discussion and get over with it. So you can move on. So I think it's pretty useful. I've never done this before, but I'm enjoying it and I find it very fruitful. That is.
Also, initially, like I told you, when this lockdown shit happened, I realized that, what is going to happen. I was literally panicking because we are not somebody, especially as a person, in fact, we had firewalls in office, to protect our data and all those things.
Oh,
so
yes.
The other way around.
Yes, yeah.
So what you do in office remains in office, basically.
Correct. So, that's the thing.
Suddenly you have to come to terms with everybody taking their works home, and then it's and also 3-4 months ago we started our presence on social media and everything. So one realizes that this is the time and age where you have to share and you have to be in sync with what technology has to offer.
Sure.
Also, and also I was reading this article about this guy in Stanford. He's an economist. He's done a research on this Chinese company and which has a travel agency, I think C6 or something. So they picked up 1,000 people from that company and they decided for say about 13 months, they're going to tell them to sit at home and work from home. This is before the COVID crisis. So
Oh.
yeah, so this is before the COVID crisis. And so what happened was, as a result, so productivity went up by 13%. But eventually what happened was, and all these guys had home offices. All these guys had built environments where they knew that they're going to be working from home, unlike what we are facing right now.
Yeah.
It just is on us. We just have to face it, and we're trying to deal with it. Yeah. So most of these guys had home offices already set up, knowing that next 13 months we have to work from home.
Yeah.
But productivity increased and all those things. Right now, what the same guys is, it's actually counterproductive, because most of those guys, those 1,000 people out of those 500 people, complained that they wanted to get back to office culture because they want to meet people socially.
That's right.
They were getting into a tendency of depression, sitting at home, and things like that. So 500 of them opted out. Look, we don't want to work from home. We want to go to office and meet our colleagues. We want to say hello. We want to be there, chill with our colleagues also during our breaks.
Correct.
So I think for a certain period, it's all right.
Yeah, but it's a part-time thing, frankly. A part-time, it's okay. But a long-term, it cannot work. We are social beings.
Yeah. Let's probably
Hi,
begin.
Gagan.
Hi, Gagandeep. Hi, Shruti. We're not able to see you. If you can start your video, then we can just begin.
Can you hear me properly now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
Yes.
Hi, Aparna. Hi, Harjas.
Hi, Gagan. Hi.
Hi, Shruti. Can you hear us? I don't think so. Yeah. Okay. I think Hina can probably sort the issue, and we can begin meanwhile with the introductions.
Can't hear you.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you, Himani.
Have you by mistake pressed a mute on my window? Just check that. Can you hear me now? Can the rest of you hear me?
Yeah,
I can.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Very clear.
Okay. Harjas, I would say that. Okay, I'll just probably type it out.
I suddenly can't hear anyone. What?
Can you hear me, Harjas? Probably can one of you speak so we can, understand if she can hear the rest of the participants.
I can hear you, Himani. I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear Harjas also. I can hear her.
Is Harjas able to hear you? If you can just check with Harjas once and just call out her name, maybe we understand if she's able to hear you.
Can you hear us, Harjas?
Harjas.
No, I don't think she can hear anyone then.
Yeah. Harjas, can you hear us? No.
I can't hear anyone. Good Lord. Give me some answer. Can you get me some answer?
I have messaged her as well. So probably she would, or she's trying to change the earphones if that works.
I don't know what happened. But
can you hear me now?
For now, I'm just trying to figure it out. you hear me?
There's a lot of disturbance. Can you just check?
Okay.
Try the audio settings like we did yesterday.
Better now?
We can't hear you much. Probably you'll have to increase the volume from the audio settings. Can you hear me, Harjas?
I can hear you.
Okay. So it's just if there's a little disturbance from your end when you speak. So yeah.
Yeah. Can you say something?
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, I can hear you.
Okay.
That's what I heard. What's happening? Yeah. Is my voice clear?
No, I can hear you again. Are you online through two devices? Like, have you logged in through two
Yeah,
places?
there are multiple people in my house. Give me 2 minutes. I think you guys continue. Just give me 2 minutes. I'm gonna come back. Okay.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's begin. Let's we have a lot of participants now, so it's better that we start on, and then we can add on from there. Here we are talking about work from home, a challenge or opportunity. That's what everybody is discussing right now. So, so during this COVID-19, a lot of things have been put into hold, whether it be safety, efficiency, sustainable work model, or how things can be implemented, and work from home has been either a boon for a lot of people, or it's been a lot of a challenge also. So, probably starting with you, Aparna, if we can have a little insight about first, a little introduction about you, and then we can move on to, Gagandeep on work from home and a little introduction.
Okay, so I'm an architect. I'm based in Delhi, and we are practicing our genre is majorly high-end residences, and we are basically practicing for the last say about 12 years, 13 years now, and we're based out of Defense Colony. What else you want to know?
How is work from home for you? I mean, right now, just in a gist, if you can start on with that.
Initially, me and Harjas, we started in the beginning, and we were just chatting about the same thing. Initially, it was like a panic. Like we were not prepared for it. We were not prepared. In fact, like I had installed firewalls so that the office work can be copyright protected, as most of our clients wanted sometimes. But when this happened, it took me about a week to figure out how to manage things around, and sending laptops home and trying to set up remote servers and everything. So all that took about a week, and then I realized after 10 days, coordinating with people on our office group was actually working out to be a very big blessing. I started sort of getting, in the mold of that home working environment where I'm very comfortable. In fact, I realized that my relationship with my 3D modeler has improved because I give him more time. He would keep asking me whether this is better, that is better, is the lighting okay? So now I'm looking at his picture. I have nothing to do, so I'm just looking at his picture. So I write my comments very properly. There are no, in and out of conference room meetings. So I'm actually giving better feedback to my juniors. They feel that I'm better accessible
You have
now.
more time for them. I mean,
Yeah,
time
they also
management
feel that I'm better accessible now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Also,
Right.
I'm not encouraging a lot of video calls on the same time, because I think video calls are a little daunting, in the sense that at the end of the day, it's just work.
Yeah.
And once in a while, we'd like to. I think there's another person joined us.
Yes, we have Shruti with us as well now. Shruti,
Hi everyone.
Can you hear us loud and clear?
Hi,
Yes,
Shruti.
I can. I'm a bit challenged with my laptop today. I don't know,
No
some
problem.
sort of issue.
No problem. That's fine. Harjas, I hope we are fixed on that now.
Yes. Can you hear me properly?
No, I'm
Yes.
actually on my phone, and I've joined this webinar through my phone, and I
Okay.
think audibility is a bit of a challenge for me right now. So I'm going to try and connect to the headphones. In the meantime, I think we can go on with other introductions.
Yes, sure. All right. So we've heard a little about what Aparna does, and we have a little understanding. We'll come back to you with more questions. Moving on to Gagandeep, if you can introduce a little about yourself and how work from home has been for you in a gist. So we have a broader mindset on that.
Yes. So my firm, Workshop for Metropolitan Architecture, we are running this firm since the last 8 years, and we basically do a lot of private high-end residences, as well as we do work for a lot of developers in South Delhi. So work from home, to an extent, we had prepared ourselves for this, because we knew the lockdown was going to come up, and we had sort of distributed the laptops beforehand and given them the work. So work from home, I'm not looking at it as a very long term thing anyway. So as a short term system, it's working well. We are just managing basically that we should live up to our schedules and manage everything well. Since this is more of a forced setup that we are into, our workplaces are not designed, our homes are not designed to work all the time. You don't get that gharwala feeling anymore. I'm speaking this on behalf of my team as well, and but we are more available to them, since there are no client meetings happening. There are no office nuances are not disturbing us anymore. So our time is 100% given to the works, to the designs. But at the same time, I would say that there are two aspects to a design office, which is one is design and one is working. So the working bit is happening very fluently, work from home system में. But the design is taking a hit. So for that, we
Gagandeep,
do
I think
need a
there's
social
issue with your network.
interaction. We do
I have
need,
your video stopped.
to meet. We do need to greet. We do need to, sit and discuss, and, that good old social
Yeah.
system. You can't hear me,
No, I
but
can't.
can you hear me?
Your video is not
Can you
moving.
hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you, but the video is
Okay.
kind of stuck.
I think it's a
Okay,
streaming.
maybe it'll just catch up.
I think it's a streaming. I think it's a
Yeah.
network.
Yeah.
Okay, so I could continue.
I think
Right.
there is a little network issue
As
on
long
that.
as you can hear me, I could continue. Let me just check. You
Okay.
can move
Meanwhile,
on to the
yes.
next
Meanwhile, let's
speaker and
go to Harjas,
then
and I
get
want to hear a little
back.
about where where
Check
does
up with
your
the
architecture roots
connection.
come from, and how are you managing work from home?
Hi. So I'm Harjas. I'm an architect by my qualification and been practicing since last 12 years now. And I always had a keen interest in interiors. So about 5 years back, 4 to 5 years back, started my own firm along with my husband and my brother-in-law. So we are doing high-end residences, and very interesting work. Love doing my job. And regarding the work from home, well, as long as this is something that's only for some time, I think there's nothing to not enjoy about it. Initially, of course, there were some insecurities, what will happen, how it will work out. But God willingly, I have a very nice team of like my staff's very nice. They're very supportive. So they've been. I mean, I think most important thing right now is communication. That's very important since we are not with each other all the time. So like we've made it into a schedule that every morning, everyone, whenever uh, signs in to the office, so we have a WhatsApp group for that. So we sign in and everyone writes that what is their schedule for today so that I also know because it's very difficult for me to actually take care of individually who's doing what. Some days I'm focusing on one project, some day on another project. So we make sure that everyone signs in with what they're planning, what their plan is for today, whatever discussions I need to do with them, then I do accordingly. And at the end of the day, again, what has happened because in between there could be that I tell them, okay, not this, and let's work on this, or it takes longer, or whatever. So that way, I think what is also very important when we work on our own is that we need to be very well planned, well managed. We have to be self motivated. So that's key to working on from home on your own, like be it for the staff or be it even for ourselves, because distractions of course are there. Right now, of course, much lesser since we can't go out. But still, I think that kind of when they sign in saying, okay, this is what they plan to do, so at least they have some scheduling and some like they need, they have something to complete and to, so some kind of responsibility they have on them. So some stress
Yeah.
or pressure is still on them. So I think
Yeah.
that's kind of
Tasks
working and
are
it
assigned
seems to be
well
comfortable.
in time on that ground. When the tasks are planned, they can plan their day better.
Yes, exactly. Otherwise, it's just too, and we are in design field, so designing can sometimes even with us, we think we'll finish in 1 hour, but it might take the whole day or maybe another. So
Right.
you can't like quantify it anyways. So it's very
Right.
important to still, to be focused and have very good communication skills. And not everyone in the office, but most of them have good communication skills. And the other people also, I keep telling them, you need to be talking to me, you need to tell me what's happening, so that I can be more involved and you can also utilize your time better. So
Right. Right.
yeah, so
So yeah, I mean, so far so good.
yeah.
Our work from home is going good. Let's go to Shruti. Shruti, if you can give us a little introduction about you and to the participants, and we have a little gist from you on work from home as well. How is it treating you?
Well, hi everyone. My company is Shruti Sodhi Interior Designs. I started my company about 7 to 8 years ago, and I don't have any prior qualifications to be an interior designer, but I love designing. I love beautifying things, and I think that was my drive all along. It was so to say, a lot of soul searching that I did, and I came a point where I actually realized that this was my calling and this is something that I really wanted to do. And I think from there on, there was no turning back. Started about I started my company in September 2012, and from there on, I started taking up farmhouses, picked up a lot of projects in Goa. Over and above that, at large, we do residential villas, per se luxury, independent floors, commercial hotels from Marriott's to a few. And moving on, we just started manufacturing furniture about 1 year back. And I think prior on, there's been no stopping us because once you start design and you're already doing it, you might as well take the next leap in doing something a little more interesting and to be able to provide, one-stop solution to your clients. So I think furniture worked brilliant for us, and we're also designing furniture for our luxury clients and doing projects pan-India and a few abroad. Over and above that, I think coming to the point of working from home, it's been a bit challenging. We've done that because there are times that we travel extensively as team members. And I remember my time when I was in Dubai for about 2 months. We were trying to work on something related to work, and I had to coordinate all my entire work with the team during that point of time. So I think a lot of things helped in terms of building up a communication from there on to now that everybody is working from their own individual space. I would say it's a bit of a challenge, but I think I have a team that's pretty old. They've been, I think, been with me for 3 or 4 years now. Some, join the company, some leave. I think it's a part of the process. But over and above that, I think they understand the essence of the company. They understand designs. The little bit of challenge that I face is, of course, there are certain timings that we've worked with, while operating from office. But when home scenario is there, human psychology, people are in their comfort zone. And sometimes, even designers, our team people tend to lapse. And I think that's when, of course, communicating to them that this is not, acceptable in a lot of ways, politely. And also at the same time, I think they come around back and, things kind of work around. It's just that the point of time that they realize that, they're lapsing from their work and all that. So I think one needs to have that level of communication and also have patience with the team.
Right.
I think that's very, very important, because these are nerve-wracking times. And considering everybody is at home, there are responsibilities, pets, kids, house, so many people complaining about their maids, how it is. So I think everybody who is working for us is also going through the same challenges being at home. So, these are the kind of things that we need to kind of cooperate and work as a team, which I realized initially, even I would say I was a little impatient, but because there is work. But, the funny thing was that I realized that our clients were lapsing. I was not getting responses. The clients are telling me, I'm depressed. I don't want to talk. Can we talk later about this? Maybe when the quarantine gets over. This...
They're taking it really easy.
Sorry, I missed you there. They are. So that was like, okay, whatever now, I cannot kill my team members for this. If, the clients are lapsing and they want to kind of hibernate on me, So, I think initially it was a bit tough. Now it's a little easier because we are almost a month and a half into the quarantine, and work stress is not so much comparatively, because there is no production that can happen. And what we had to achieve over a period of time, we already have done that. Now we are, we are looking to go to the next step in terms of moving about with the production, with mood boards, with doing other things which are a little more outdoor.
Right. Okay. So, we've had kind of a summarization of the entire aspect of what we will be talking about and what we are talking here. Moving forward, just for a quick thing, I would introduce myself as well. I am Himani, and I'm also an architect by education, but never followed that through. And now, I'm kind of managing a team of architects, designers, PR professionals, and what we do is we do architectural communications, and we kind of build brands go bigger. So that's what we do and what my team does, and we are entirely into architectural communications, and in different ways possible, because like we know, architecture is an art, and it has different limitations of marketing. We make sure that it makes a world of its own through different brand strategies. So that's what we do. And so for us, digital media and digital medium has always been an easy approach. So it's not affecting us that much. But yes, we've had our own challenges in terms of different things. Okay, so beginning with, our work from home, a challenge or liberty. Let's start with the challenges and efficiency. Going forward, I want to know, now to make work from home a success, it is important that all our employees are kind of working remotely, but maintaining the same level of dedication and effort, which is quite difficult, when they're working from home. So how can you achieve that, and
I
how
think
can you
that
actually tap
that
their performance reports, because that is something which is quite a task for people to tap performance reports. So, any of you would like to contribute to that? I want to kind of hear.
one thing I'd like to add here is that we are in the industry of designing. Designing is something that requires a FaceTime kind of experience. So while we are at home, mostly what you can do is basically work on your technicals, and you can point out the technical issues and all those things. Like you can work on your drawing, you can work on your electricals and plumbings and stuff like that. But when there is a time that you require a real FaceTime group discussion when you're designing and all those things. I think for that, it's very important. Like we tried this doing on Zoom once or twice, but to us that, having vendor meetings on Zoom, having these technical meetings is pretty easy. But I think design is proving to be quite the challenge. So I eventually gave it up, and I decided that, look, we are going to shut shop very soon, and we are going to finish all our technicals, whatever we can. Like she said earlier, that we're not getting any feedbacks regularly from clients.
Right.
So also when you prepare a presentation and you send it to a client, what is the next step is usually after you get the feedback. So this is where one challenge we are facing, and the other is that after the technicals are done, you can't move around to your sites. There's no feedback coming in, no group discussions happening. So we will run into a dead end soon, though we are enjoying it right now, and there is a reasonable amount of productivity in the sense that the modeling and the 3D modeling and the designs that have already been done. The technicals of those drawings are progressing very nicely and very fast.
More on the conceptual aspect of it, it's working quite well.
Yeah, but we are going to run into a dead end soon.
Right. What's your take on it, Gagandeep? What do you have to say on this?
No, it's definitely challenging. Like I said earlier, it's not a long-term solution. Like we can't consider design offices to run work from, homes. We can't do it. So again, the technical aspect is easy to do, easy to manage, easy to, delegate. You can have team leaders supervise. You can manage that. You can assess the work done in a day, or over a period of 2 days, 3 days. You can assess that very well. But when you come to design, the communication it's really coming out to be a challenge. You really need to have people listen to you, and then interpretations vary. So what I am communicating, my modeler may understand it the right way, may understand it the wrong way. And then the same thing I have to do, like repeat it 3 times, 4 times, just to get the kind of output that I would, generally receive in the one shot. So those are the communication problems are definitely going to, till the time we come up with better softwares, till the time we come up with, more specific, more softwares addressed and designed specifically to our needs, so till the time this has completely been a forced, system that we had to, adapt to.
Also, I think design is very intuitive. I don't think a software can really replace it ever, but it's a very intuitive process when you're sitting with your team and sketching and all those things, and the ideas start pouring in. It's very intuitive when you're sitting with real humans around you. Vis-a-vis on that, I think somehow that feeling will take a lot of time for sinking in.
Yeah, I mean, talking of softwares, I would want to know, I mean, are you facing any technology hiccups, or what do you have to say in terms of softwares helping you right now, some way or the other, to kind of...
I actually wanted to join in for
Harjas.
the discussion. Somehow, I have a completely different way of looking at it. Somehow, I feel that now without having other distraction of someone else coming from the office and saying, okay, ma'am, what about this, ma'am, what about this? Now my designer and me, we actually have 3 hour meetings on Zoom or mainly TeamViewer, where we're seeing each other's screen. So be it the layout planning at the very initial level, because many of my projects were in a stage where we were actually just planning the layout. So, be it the layout planning, sketching those, or using the 3D software, which both of us, even my designer or me, we could like literally sit down together and design that. So somewhere on a very, probably that's the way we've been working in general or more on software.
Yeah.
So we've actually found time to give each other more and like sit on each project, maybe even like each detailing of one room of one, maybe like yesterday I did 3, 4 vanity designs, which generally I'm not so much in the detailing also. I know that's a part of detailing and not just the designing, but even like taking care of even the smaller details to the bigger level, which when I'm able to be more productive that
Found
way. I
time to
know
do
it's
it, and you found it
not something
undisputed
that
space
can,
with the
uh,
designers.
sorry?
You found time to do it, and you have like an undisputed space with the designer
Yes,
now. Yeah.
exactly. Because even when I'm in office, I always call my designers, whoever I'm working that project we have to work on that day. We call them. I call them earlier in the morning before everyone else comes, so that there's no other disturbance. So that's my normal practice nowadays. We've been practicing. So at that time there's no this thing, ma'am. What about this? Okay, ma'am. What about this? Because there's always a havoc in the office otherwise. So that way I've been able to be focused, and I think with team viewers and all, I've been pretty happy with the coordination with my designers. So
Right.
it's been pretty good that way. Then.
Right. It's quite like a hassle-free zone where you can, design freely and you have that mindset
Yeah.
and
So
mind
I
space
in
to do
fact
it.
told my designers like we have Zoom meetings every once in a while, and then I tell them, okay, let's just discuss that this day I'll be discussing with this person, and this day I'll be discussing with this person. So if you manage it like that, so that day that person, whichever project that guy is doing, so we'll discuss on that in detail. And because good thing is we're not in a hurry, so we have that liberty that आज अगर उसके साथ नहीं किया तो किसी का और काम नहीं रुक रहा साइड पे. So that's
Right.
the savior right now, that साइड
Right.
पे कुछ नहीं रुक रहा, so we're not get running late, कोई production drawing नहीं बननी है or something. So I'm liking the way we're designing now.
Yeah, especially, I would say now in this times, a lot of people are following standard models to kind of, design. But now, since all the designers have got so much time at hand to kind of design or sketch or, put forward more time in their concepts, I think we are going to have better results once this lockdown gets over. We will have more designs flown forward for people to kind of, have a look at or, kind of think of it as a design model. So
I'm
it's quite a boon for a lot of people on that ground, especially when it comes to designing. Okay, so I would also want to know that what about managing time, because usually when you're in office, I mean, I'm sure as a designer you don't have office set hours like probably an IT company, but then still there is a certain segregation when it comes to a 9 to 5 or like a 10 to 6 model where people have a little break. But when it comes to work from home, sometimes we kind of overwork ourselves because we get so engrossed into it, or we have distractions coming from professional personal life as well. So what do you have to say on that? How are you kind of managing that balance, and with no regulated hours, are you able to switch on and off on that ground?
You're addressing
Probably.
this to me?
Yeah. Yeah, let's start with you. Why don't you give us
Okay.
a little insight? Yes.
Okay, so see, it has to start and end with discipline, because if we have 9:30 to 30 in office, then we have, tried our level best to schedule our office, the entire teams around this time only. Though, of course, they have better flexibility because they don't have to travel. So they
Yeah.
can, they can wake up whatever time they like, but they need to check in at the regular time. They need to check in between 9:30 10, and then go through the entire day, like Harjas had also mentioned that schedule the day, then at the end of the day give a report of what has been addressed and what has been achieved, and if there is any loopholes, anything open ended, they need to close that ASAP. So more or less, working from home, discipline has to be there, because if even if you have a private life, it has to be managed around your works.
Right. Right.
I
Shruti,
think
how are you managing it?
I'm managing it wonderfully. I'm trying. I'm trying. This is a first time experience, I think, for everybody. And initially, you're like, "How are you going to do it? How are you going to do it?" And then I think when the quarantine started for all of us, there was a lot of workload. I was following the exact timing. So 10:30 to 6:30 it is. And there would suddenly be a good morning, everyone, to my group, and they would still lapse in replying. So that of course was a bit of a challenge for me, because then I had to tell them and convey to them, these are the timings and you need to abide by it. I understand this is not a military camp that we are running, but we have to realize that we are not in the face of each other all the time. These are not work office hours that we are maintaining. So if we are working from home, we need to, self-discipline, as Gagandeep rightly said, that we need to work together as a team and continuously make an effort, because this is your home, this is your comfort zone. I understand one gets lazy, you're subject to a little bit of boredom, but then of course we also should realize that this is a temporary setup. It's not going to be permanent, and all of us are in it together. So we need to kind of follow the work timings, most importantly. But I think as the quarantine, coming back to it, has progressed and workload has subsided a bit, it's a little more flexible system that I'm following with my employees at the moment. So there's no rigid time that I have to at 10:30 say to them like, good morning, what's up, what's happening? Yes, for the designers who are doing the furniture designs, they automatically report to me because they have a schedule laid out for them. But over and above that, my designer who handles my communication, talking to the clients and things like that, she automatically reports to me at about 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, because she says, ma'am, it's quarantine time. I don't want to disturb the clients. When you call them, or even for that matter, leads or business, nobody tends to make those calls in the early part of the morning before noon time. So I think whatever work that happens per se, communication, whether ongoing projects or marketing or any sort of coordination, builds up for my company now post say noon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and more discussions happen. But work is gradual. There's not much of workload on my employees at the same time. So I'm actually very happy in a way, because when schedule starts, you don't have a choice. You have deadlines to meet, you have things to do. So maybe this is a brilliant way for them also to be rejuvenating in their own way,
True.
So yeah, so it has its positives, it has its negatives, of course. All that is there, but I think it works very well for my employees also, and strengthens. Of course, it's challenging, but it does strengthen our relationship more. And I feel that you become more understanding towards their needs as humans, and you want to retain them. So maybe if everybody's still paying salaries, and of course, at the end of the day, being the business owners right now, we are taking the maximum hit because our paychecks have stopped. So yeah. I feel that they also understand that hit somewhere, and we don't have to be loud enough, to be telling them that. But it's a work from both sides, and these are tough times where you really realize who are the tough ones who will survive this with you, including your team members.
Right. What do you have to say when it comes to working from home in these scenarios, and how to kind of move forward, and in terms of cataloging? We as designers, we've got extra time at hand also. I'm sure that there are certain time frames that we are saving when it comes to commuting, or maybe having distractions at work. So those extra hours that probably each designer, or even probably a fresher designer, how can they use it? How can they cure their boredom, and how can they kind of utilize it well when it comes to design?
Whom did you ask?
Yeah, Aparna, I wanted to know it. Yes.
Okay. So I think in terms of I am encouraging actually more to initially, like I was like I said, I was actually trying to lay out a proper schedule for everybody to work and all those things. But as the lockdown is progressing, as we have entered the second leg of it, I think I've become more relaxed. I'm encouraging everybody to be more into the research mode rather than reporting to me, in terms of so come up with, like I've given them historical eras, like for example Baroque architecture and stuff like that, to do some research, come back to me with elements. So I think this is going to also be very interesting, because it's a forced lockdown. Most of them, I'm sure, will not have a proper office space with them. So to work and to draft drawings and to continue doing that for such a long period of time, I think it is definitely, and I hope it doesn't stay for long. I think for the next 1 month we can survive by doing a lot of research, which can actually help when we open.
Yeah.
So I think I'm spending this time mostly on researching, which we usually don't get when we are actually in the rut of things. Moving site visits, vendor visits, meeting clients, and things like that. So I think I'm engaging them in these kind of activities more these days.
I mean, that's quite a thing. I mean, they can go back to the historical eras and kind of extract certain more elements for their concepts and probably designs forward, and we get more interesting things to see now.
Like given one particular style of architecture, and to research more on that with elements and come up with something we used to do back in college actually. That's going along pretty interesting. And so I gave them also 2-3 series on Netflix to see, called the Renaissance, with it's a 3-episode series which talks about all these great master artists like Botticelli, Brunelleschi, and all these guys. So we are engaging ourselves in these kind of things.
That's nice. Just what do you suggest as well? I mean, what are these handy tips that you can give, designers sitting at home? I mean, not maybe business owners, but, designers still at heart and wanting to do something, in these days. So what do you suggest?
Like Aparna said, I think adding to that, it's about to, it's now we have that liberty, that time, that luxury to get our quality up. So in every way, so it could be good looking, like better drawings, better detail, better standards, from that to better presentations. You're just like, how it looks, to what content goes into it. And even I've started like one of my designers, he didn't have enough work. I knew that his work is coming towards an end. We've finished like what his set of things were, and but he's good at doing 3D rendering and all. So, and that's something that I wanted to get someone involved in as well, an additional person. So I started exploring. Like I've never asked him to do 3D renderings, but we tried our hand on that, and he tried his hand on that, and it came out really nice. So that's the time where someone's exploring his own capabilities in some other way. So we've now been discussing with him, okay, let's get you into that, and probably maybe eventually he'll, apart from the kind of work he was doing initially, he'll probably add in his portfolio that he can do good 3D renders eventually. Maybe this quarantine ends like this for him. So I think it's like that. And regarding what you said about the timeline, uh, whoever is very dedicated and whoever knows that this is the work they have uh, set for themselves that for that day. And sometimes of course I tell my designer that we always have a lock in and a lockout time. So but of course in between it can be flexible. Now they're at home, of course sometimes they have to move out, not just for a lunch break, but of course for 2 hours. So you have that flexibility, but you need to still be within that timeline of the office. So that discipline is important, so that we can talk to each other. We have the discussion without feeling that, oh, this guy is not at his desk right now. So that is important. But for my own self, like I was discussing initially with Aparna, so our own house is getting designed, which I never had time for ever, because there were so many deadlines. So I've enjoyed this. I'm in fact saying that if this didn't happen, probably I don't know if I would have been able to design my own house. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise for me as of now. So yeah, and so I've been having late working hours because of that. But otherwise, of course, with the my child around, we of course.
Personally as well, I would say that cataloging is a great way, because a lot of my clients, whenever that we have discussions with architects or with interior designers or with brands, they have done beautiful projects, but they do not have them cataloged, because they don't have certain photos. They say they're in some other drive, or they don't have a story behind it. They don't know what the concept was. I mean, that's now I feel this is the time that they can sit down and, kind of segregate the kind of good projects that they've done earlier in the past, but never catalog them. That will be a great way forward for people to kind of push in a better way. And also now, since digital media is so strong, everybody can be on social media and, can create a page for themselves. So, why not push it forward, and, people can see the kind of work you've done in the past, and, kind of learn from it. People, especially who are, freshers into the design industry, or who are just starting out, they can get better designs to look at. So everybody takes references now. So we have a question from Rohit Kapoor. I think we should take it now. So he says, hi, seems we may be forced to work from home for some more time due to extended lockdowns in the next few months in India or world over. Keeping in mind all the problems cited by the panelists while we work from home along with our office teams, what improvements and system changes that you will suggest for an efficient working and work discipline? So any of you would like to kind of answer it for Rohit?
I think firstly we need to start with setting up a proper home office. Setting that proper allocated workspace at home will really, those of us who can actually afford it, setting up such a space where you're not regularly disturbed by your family members, especially the married members. They are facing a lot of difficulties with their kids being at home nowadays. That additional responsibility they have to share in terms of schooling them right now is proving to be a challenge for these people to work from home.
Yeah.
So I think setting up a home office, a dedicated, allocated space where you're not disturbed, where you have an office environment, where you feel disciplined and more regulated to do your job is I think, the first step to start with.
Right. I think that answers well for
Yeah, Aparna rightly said on that, and I want to add to it that sometimes people don't have the budgets, but nature is one thing which has always been a driving point for me, and I'm very attached to greenery and trees, and I like to see that around me. Maybe inside the house, inside my office, I have a green wall, and locations when I right now our house is also getting constructed, and we moved to this place, so I chose a place next to a forest. So and I have actually an architect living next door, and he's also done up a similar setup for his office. Something very interesting, you can do some kind of glass rooms, add some French doors to it, not very expensive, and you can add your own space, add some greenery, do extension to your balcony, or maybe some terrace space, a space where you just walk up, it's your own space, you have time to unwind, think about work, think about other things, when nobody's to disturb you, especially wives complaining about husbands and husband complaining about wives, kids, in a home environment. So I think you need your me time in a me space, adding on to, what was said.
I would like to add, I would like to add to this that if we're looking at this scenario to run, over a elongated period of time, then I would genuinely, expect that new softwares should come up. Just like we were not aware of this software called Zoom for these, visual interactions to happen. Similarly, more management softwares can probably, be adopted by architecture firms or design firms, which help us remotely manage our work. Because till now, since we had been hands-on to everything, we did not need to use any software as such. So maybe we can, adapt to new technologies, and new technologies can come up to assist such work from home scenarios more effectively.
Right. Any tips that, since we are talking about, recreating spaces, especially residentials, when people want to work from home in future as well. So, are there certain more tips that you can add to it, saying that this is what you can do with your space? If somebody wants to create like a space to work at, like, Shruti rightly said, they just need to do a little more, just bringing greens indoors, or maybe using a little arches. You get a lot of upcycled materials these days, and people make the most of it. But what more can they do with the little spaces, and how to recreate a residential space?
Can you hear me? I have to.
Yes.
Okay. So I think space, of course, is something that would be a little is subjective to what people would have also. But more than that, I feel first of all, I'm just reiterating what we've already discussed is when we are working from home, it has to be self-discipline and self-management. And of course, that what helps is that we should not like first day I started with my bedroom. Then I came into my little segregated lounge area with a little, like she said, that a little green outside. And especially these days, weather has been wonderful to us. So just open the door, have a little breeze. And I think that's one space where you can just keep your laptop and go back to your bedroom and then come here. So now this area, the area I'm sitting right now, it's a little lounge in my house here has become my office for now. So it's of course it's a family area, but it's a little segregated. So space-wise, that's a little segregation, of course, is required. But that discipline that you're not lying around in your bedroom, you have an upright position, you have a better ergonomically, you're sitting well, you have a chair, proper chair or a proper sitting posture, and proper kind of lighting. Which these are the things which we normally take care for us and our staff in the offices. So these things are even important for that work experience. That there should be adequate light, there should be a proper posture because many a times we are working on our laptops. I also feel if I don't have a proper posture, then my hands aching after some time, my neck's aching after some time. So all those things we need to maintain that, which we take care in offices for our staff. We need to maintain that for ourselves, and everyone should take care of these things even at
Yeah,
home.
usually in office spaces, you have that kind of office furniture, that kind of manages
Correct.
your ergonomics well. But when it comes to a house, it's more laid back, and we tend to have more comfortable furniture in that sense. So I guess furniture also plays quite a part where people can have a straight posture chair that they can make the most of.
I think even you can have, things like a dart board, or some small games that kind of, times when you're sitting in a room and you want to kind of stretch your neck and you, want to do something different because you're tired of sitting on the laptop and you want to do something a little more recreative. So these kind of small dart things or sporty things, which will work very well in even office spaces. They do a great job. Not something which will take a lot of time, but something which is like as good as a dart board,
Yeah.
It's quick, you want to do something and then get back to it. So it's just a break from the work.
Yeah, we have another interesting question here. It seems like more of a rapid fire question. So they want to know, how do you look at life after lockdown opens? What will be the first thing that you do after the lockdown opens up? This is from Karan.
Yeah, I'll start with that.
Yes.
I would love to go out of India. I would love to travel
I am with you on that one.
Yeah, literally, they
We've
just
all
locked
missed
us
on the
out.
Milan this
That was
year.
my answer.
Yeah.
I'm going to run.
I'm going to run.
And my clients are going to run. So it's fine.
I think, of course, most of us would have been scheduled for Milan anyways, and we all missed on that. So
I was hoping the June thing happens, but I don't think it's happening anytime soon.
No, now they've
of course.
been
It's
2021.
cancelled. Yeah.
Another thing I'm going to do is never watch the movie I Am Legend again. You're gonna look at the movie and you go like, oh, I just watched it. Yeah, this is my life. This is what happened.
Yeah.
But I was planning that since we all are still working from home and essentially, of course, it's much relaxed and stress-free. But I still feel that we have a schedule and everything. So I was just discussing with my husband that before the lockdown is supposed to be over, I want me and my staff to not work for a few days at all, so that when they come back, they don't have this feeling that they've
They're
been working throughout.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
they should have that
Actually,
feeling that okay, they've had a break and now we start afresh completely. They should not be run down already. That no, ma'am, we've already been working, and you know. So I was discussing. I was like, few days I need for myself as well, and for all of them to just come back to office. And I think one thing we all will be enjoying is to see each other again and having those office talks.
I'm missing the social, the social thing, that meeting people, meeting clients. So you meeting, that's actually, it's not sometimes for a person like me, it's not work. I just love to do that. I mean, I'm missing all that. I'm missing people visiting me in the office. I'm missing all that.
Yeah. So I mean, when it comes to social interaction, it's literally zero. I mean, right now. So I would also want to know how you keeping your knowledge base stronger. obviously, when you meet people, you kind of discuss ideas, you discuss random things as well. But then right now you're confined to maybe, your family, your confined space. So how are you keeping your social, knowledge base stronger?
I'm making my own digital mood boards. I
Okay.
make some design mood boards. I've shared them on my Insta page, just creating some concepts over the
Right.
phone and kind of sharing them.
Yeah.
And the kind of room I'd like, the kind of family room I'd like to be in, the kind of bedroom I like. So been doing that and been doing a lot of research actually, just by default.
Yeah.
So you're,
Yeah, same here,
because
same
you're an interior designer, on digital search, you automatically led to different pages. And because your mind is there and this is something that you do on a regular basis, you don't realize it. But search after search, you just land up just being in the element and realm
Yeah,
of design.
and things that you didn't know. Like I told you about this series that I was watching. I got so much into it. Like for 3 days, I was living, breathing, and dreaming about this series. You have nothing else to do except checking work and then getting back to your series. And thereafter, I realized that there's so many things that I didn't know. I've been to Italy so many times, and there's so many things about Florence that I didn't know. I mean, I saw this series called Medici, and that completion of that dome that architect did and all those things, it's really mesmerizing. I didn't really realize it, that we've studied in our college, we use the influences so much in our projects, but somehow you don't know the behind the scenes story, what actually happened. So it's quite interesting that finding out facts about it's sort of enriching also in a way.
Right. We're getting a couple of questions, so I think we'll wrap up after taking in. So I have a question from Mr. Sanjay Parekh. His question is that each of the panelists has indicated what their colleagues will be able to learn and how they can deliver better. But the question is that, are you willing to engage with companies who can engage in this, digital aspect and objective through Zoom and other similar softwares? How comfortable will you be engaging with companies? I mean, I'm guessing he means vendors. How willing are you to kind of engage with them and Zoom and, kind of showcasing their products and everything?
I think we're already, we've got a hang of it now. Using Zoom to actually have interactions with vendors. I'm really encouraging that with my team also, that now you can explore products. You can have vendors give their presentations on Zoom to you. So I think once the lockdown gets over, we can have, it will be shorter, in order to, it will be a crisp meeting, crisper than what it usually would be if I have to have my entire team and then somebody come in and give a presentation. So I think we would be exploring the Zoom and other such softwares much more in having these kind of presentations with
Considering that
vendors.
you engage a lot of times meeting vendors also, that they come down to your office and they showcase your products and everything, and that kind of hampers your time when you're kind of designing as well. So I feel it'll be a meta medium when you're kind of overlooking this, take out an hour where you're just doing this on maybe a digital platform.
Plus,
And then
many
going
times
back.
they can't carry all their products.
Right.
So they insist that you come to their showroom for this, for those things. So Zoom can, be a better platform wherein the entire product range is visible to us in our office at our comfort.
Also, I think the takeaway from this lockdown period is that a lot of our work can happen on virtual, tours of their storerooms and stuff like that. I think it's worth investing in these systems. Although it cannot, I mean, I'm not advocating that it can replace human interaction, but a lot of it can be addressed through virtual tours of their stores and their products and everything. I think a large part of it will get catered. I think there's a lot of takeaway from this lockdown also, because there's no need necessarily to sit and meet everybody, wait and schedule meetings 3 days, 4 days, or wait for those meetings. Somebody has to come down to your office. You can immediately have it on your laptop and be done with it. So I think that is the takeaway.
Yeah, so since this has forced us to get into it, so now we've got the hang of it and we've become comfortable.
So
So
what
of course,
I think
happen
for
on state now?
things will change.
Yeah, right. I want to know what's going to happen to the real estate, considering now everybody is getting so used to working at home. Are people going to buy offices? Are they going to rent offices or
Yes,
not?
that cannot like not
That
been,
cannot
that's
change. I
not
think
getting
offices
undone.
are a
I
must.
don't think so.
Yeah.
We are looking to
Offices
get back
need
very
to be
soon.
there.
Like in
Social
quarantine,
interaction is there.
government ruling, you can take out maybe for the nature, for less pollution, maybe 1 month work from home in a year. But that, I think that's
Correct.
about it. We
Right.
need to go back to
Offices will
offices
be
and
there,
maintain a
and we
routine.
need that social interaction for all so many. Correct. So
Right.
there'll be part-time things, of course, like fundamental and vendor interaction, all that. That's an additional thing that will get added because of all this the Zoom and all. But it cannot be, offices cannot be undone. That interaction, of course, will
We
still be
can't replace the office culture with the remote working.
Correct.
correct. That's necessity.
It is only temporary, and we can maybe make it a part of it.
Correct.
But
Right.
we cannot replace it.
As
That
a
is-
part-time thing. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so we'll just take the last question, which we have from Kashish. And our question is that, is there anyone amongst you who's gotten too used to working from home? And because it's been over a month, do you feel intimidated by what future holds? Like, will people be too used to, sitting at home and working in their own comfort spaces?
I don't
think so.
Not at all.
No.
People are just looking forward to get
Yeah,
out.
everyone.
Not at all.
They want to be out.
Okay, so basically work from home, is it challenge or a liberty? Let's end with that.
See, I'm
Yes.
personally, I want to add on to it is that I'm loving this time.
Yeah.
Definitely, because
That's
it's
a
a lot of
vacation.
time with my
No
pets.
vacation.
My husband who complains that I don't find time because he's busy in his own schedule. I think that works with everybody in their lives.
Yeah.
So I think this time I'm trying to make the most of and think it in a positive stride that yes, this is doing me good. I'll maybe never get this again. So make the most of it,
It's like after many years, we've got the school summer holidays.
Yeah, it's like that.
So
Yeah.
it's like